have small yards in the city get matched up on a website with people who live in apartment blocks and would love to garden but don't have any space. So the people make up a match with someone who lives nearby, and the apartment dwellers come and farm in the backyard that's just unused space, or maybe the people who live there are getting older, they don't have time to do it anymore, they're working, whatever. And then they share the produce, and what's left over they give to a food bank. You know, this is how the cities begin to be able to feed themselves. This is how we reduce the carbon fuels, fossil fuels that are needed for food transportation from the long distances in order to feed cities. And it's easy for naysayers to say, well, it's only a small percentage, that's never going to become mainstream, you know, blah, blah, blah. But you start, and then you see. And it's quite amazing, actually. You know, if you can really do estimates about including green roofs, including greenhouses in the city, including using wasteland next to roads, including things like mushrooms and sprouts that can be done all winter long. It's quite amazing when you think about all of that together and the potential for a city to actually feed itself from agriculture and activities within its own borders. It's quite amazing.
You brought up in the session about where you showed a picture that you have Spanish clementines in Toronto, and then you were saying, but the question is, what will happen to the Spanish farmers
if Toronto actually does feed itself?
Exactly. And so, how do you think that kind of fits into the whole idea of it being something that's actually a sustainable future for people?
This is why the equity concerns have to be brought in from the very beginning, because Spanish clementine farmers, I don't really know about this, and the people who live in Spain need to work this out, right? But those people who are farming, who are growing clementines now and exporting all over the world, I would wager that 100 years ago they didn't do that. In other words, before there was the possibility of transporting food for these long distances through the transportation system, what did those people do, right? And is there a way to substitute for that cash crop economy with a locally vibrant and sustainable economy that doesn't depend on long distance trade?